Welcome back to the Euro Report. Let's focus on a team who aren't in the Euros. The breaking news this hour, Wales have sacked their head coach, Robert Page, and we need to get more on this. So let's speak to our senior reporter, Geraint Hughes. Geraint, thanks for joining us. You cover Wales for us. What's your immediate reaction to the breaking news? Give us some context.
It's really mixed. There is some surprise. I think it's very bad news on a good day when they probably Wales are thinking that people are concentrating elsewhere, obviously with the England result last night and obviously the Euros as well. You feel a little bit there. But some surprise in the fact that, you know, Rob Page is trying to build, or has been trying to build, a new Wales team with a lot of young players coming through. It's what's called their pathway. The realisation that a lot of senior players have retired, most notably Gareth Bale, Joe Allen, etc. He's been without Aaron Ramsey for quite a long time through injury as well. But then the not so surprised part, the results of late, a couple of friendlies at the beginning of June against Gibraltar, a 0-0 draw there. That wasn't good. And then a humiliating away defeat against Slovakia. Now, those games were initially meant to be warm-up games for Wales. Had they qualified for the Euros, they had to get those games in places because they were their path to the Euros was through the playoffs, which were at the end of March. They had to get things like that in place. Those games, those results were not good. Not getting to the Euros was not good as well. Wales have been on a bit of a roll of going to major tournaments, Euro 2016, Euro 2020, the World Cup in 2022. They wanted to become serial qualifiers. And they were very, very close to doing it. Just a penalty kick away. They lost in a penalty shootout against Poland in the Euros playoff final in Cardiff. But you can point to the other side is why Wales even in that position? They maybe should have qualified by right. And I think it's a sense of some growing impatience by members of the FAW board with the results, although Rob Page will be able to point to his record, currently unbeaten in 18 competitive matches, yet maybe the board seeing this change, trying to bring through younger players for the future, the results on the pitch, especially those at the beginning of June, and not qualifying for the Euros, perhaps they felt it was now time for a change of direction because, you know, yep, the Euros are going on now, but once they're over, the domestic season gets going again, and then international football continues again. Come September the 6th, the Nations League begin, and Wales have a tough start there against Turkey. So they've got to get somebody in place before that game and before the Nations League gets underway.
Yep, the games come thick and fast. Now, we know that Wales have a real history of appointing their own. Rob Page played for Wales, Ryan Giggs before him, Chris Coleman, Gary Speed. You go a long way back. Who are the contenders to succeed Robert Page? Roy Keane, I see, as a name that's been linked in the media.
Well, Roy Keane's name has been around there because there was this rather unsavoury moment late last year with the qualifying period for the Euros, when Rob Page turned up at a press conference with all his coaches were there. Goalkeeping coaches, assistant coaches, first team coaches were there because it had been reported that the FAW chief executive, Noel Mooney, had been looking to replace Rob Page. And Roy Keane was one of those names that appeared then. It didn't go down well with the players then. You may recall Ben Davies, the Tottenham defender, he was actually captaining the side and he did a press conference and he categorically said the players stand 100% behind Rob Page, and Ben Davies is a clever guy, and he pretty much said that the players were not happy with the way that was handled, not happy with the chief executive. However, that was back towards September, October of last year. Now is now. Roy Keane is clearly a name that perhaps the chief executive of the FAW has maybe looked at in the past. I know you mentioned there about Wales appointing their own. Well, there was a Welsh manager who was available up until yesterday, Steve Cooper, the former Nottingham Forest manager. He's a Welshman, a proud Welshman as well. I'm for certain, had he not taken that Leicester job, been confirmed in that role in the Premier League, his name would have been certainly out there today. But in terms of what Wales have got to do, it's acknowledge what Rob Page was trying to do in terms of bringing through a lot of young players. The technical director of the FAW, a man called David Adams, he has recognised this morning in the way that Page was able to try and assimilate from his days when he was the under-21 coach and bring through a number of young players, because that was the way that Wales would have to do. They'd have to find the next generation after retirements of the Bales, the Allens, probably not too long into the future, Aaron Ramsey as well. They had to look for a new future, and Rob Page will point to his fact and his record in trying to do that. But it hasn't sort of all married up well. It's not been good enough in terms of the results. But they're going to have to get somebody in place well before September, before the Nations League, because yes, you have that, but then also then you go into qualifying for the World Cup. The next World Cup 2026 in the USA, Mexico and Canada. Greater number of teams going to that. There will be huge expectation not on Wales to just be in the mix, but Wales to qualify for that. So they've got to be in place to do that. Yes, it looks good because Wales want to be qualifying for major tournaments, as they have done as well. But there are the finances as well. Football is very much a business. Wales have been used to going to major tournaments, getting there, getting those finances coming in. That's what they sort of budget around, which is what they need. They need to be going to the next World Cup on a number of levels. So they need the right person and getting them in the right time so they can prepare for the Nations League and then prepare for when the World Cup qualifiers come around as well. So you've mentioned there a couple of names, sort of Roy Keane. He's been out there in the past. Steve Cooper, no more because he is at Leicester. There'll be others that emerge as well. Just a quick one perhaps on Rob Page's future as well. He is by no means a man who does not have his suitors. He did an excellent job with Wales when he took over in a difficult time. Ryan Giggs was the manager and had to step aside following an arrest that was made. He was subsequently charged as well, although he denied those charges and was found not guilty in court. But he took over at a really difficult time. He's the only Welsh manager to take Wales to 2 tournaments and manage them at 2 tournaments, the Euros in 2020 and the World Cup. Yes, a number of the fans, he wasn't flavour of the month. He wasn't necessarily their favourite, but he's going to look back, Wales fans are going to look back with a guy that had a very, very good record for Wales. And on his things, he will have suitors, whether that be in the domestic or the international market.
Geraint, thank you.